They will be, of course, separate from people, and it will be safe, but it will still look as if they're roaming wild.
Behind bars is no longer a place for animals to be held.
Well, now there are ways to correct that.
It's never been done before.
No, and that's why this is so exciting.
Well, I arranged for us to meet here to help illustrate this concept. Is this a good place for animals to live?
An example here of how they're contained. Now, if you'll see this canal, this
behind
is
it
what helps
we
contain
consulted both the elected officials and
I think that's the kind of enthusiasm we need to establish.
Where is the support going to
in
come
showing us what's going to be the best way to do that. You know the animals. I don't know the animals.
Areas are actually going to be hidden.
Incredibly excited about the direction this zoo could take and lead the way for zoos in the future.
I can see enormous educational opportunities.
you've really thought it all out.
Well, with a lot of
concept.
Make this one of the greatest zoos in the world and lead us right into the 21st century.
In the early 70s, the Woodland Park Zoo established a bold blueprint for a new zoo in Seattle. This inspired moment in our zoo's history came after decades of existence as the kind of city zoo most of us remember from childhood. Caged, cramped, pacing animals. In 1976, a plan took shape that not only would change our zoo, but would lead the way for zoo development everywhere. Today, this vision of a world-class zoo is becoming reality.
The vision of the new zoo is to provide an opportunity to visit almost all parts of this world and see its animals in your own backyard.
The Woodland Park Zoo has always been one that's been highly touted for design, interpretation, a natural feeling of walking through the wild, and a step above the typical zoo exhibit that we've been familiar with over the years.
Woodland Park is right up there in terms of the momentum of change. Woodland Park is a leading edge zoo in terms of the exhibit offerings to the public.
It certainly is considered a world-class zoo, and from my perspective, I see it as such. What they're doing there with the whole concept of visitor immersion into the exhibits and into habitats will make a significant impact on conservation.
A world-class zoo has a world-class responsibility, in part to preserve its philosophy, the heartbeat and the vision, and to continue to work consistently towards that very idealistic goal.
Well, I think anyone can collect animals and put them on exhibit, but I think really a world-class zoo is one that, when the visitor leaves, they take something home with them that has interpreted those animals in such a way that they have a better understanding of the balance of nature and what role they play, and just how important it is to us to maintain the wild habitats that we have as resources.
People around the country and around the world who know zoos know what a tremendous resource we have in Seattle. They know that better than the people here do. And I think it's appropriate for our community to step up and support this vision, which is really world-class.
If you are a community that's aware of your role in the world, then you're going to care about not just the heritage that you came upon, but the legacy that you're going to leave. And that's where it's at.
Nearly a decade after the birth of this vision, the citizens of King County voted unprecedented support for the legacy of the new zoo. Every dollar contributed privately would be matched by $3 from a bond issue. The public supported the vision of a modern zoo, combining 4 essential purposes: education, recreation, conservation, and research.
One of the things we do at a zoo is educate. And one of the things we have to do is educate the children. And we have to explain to them why it's so important to save and conserve what we've got, the resources we have. And this is a good example of how we can educate a lot of children in the inner city who'll never, ever go to Africa, who'll never go to India or never go to Thailand. Many animals will go extinct if we don't make a statement and do something for them now.
Just a tremendous tree frog. These guys are coated in wax that helps them resist the desiccation of the day so they don't dry out. It's nice to go somewhere and so people say, what do you do for a living? And you say, I'm a zookeeper. And they say, oh, that's really neat. And it doesn't mean that you're a jailer at some ugly animal prison. It means that you're a worker at a park where animals exist in really beautiful enclosures that are really, really gratifying to the eye and all the other senses of visitors who come here.
If this community can rise to the challenge, our children will no longer see animals in prison, but visit a zoo unsurpassed anywhere on Earth. A zoo this community can be proud of. The Woodland Park Zoo will not only be a valued community asset, but will make an impression of world-class leadership and vision.
In many quarters, this has been cited as one of the most livable city, if not the most livable city in the United States. Among the things that make it that is the Woodland Park Zoo. This is a facility that can be enjoyed by people of all ages, all economic positions, all cultures, because it's a universal appeal.
It is an institution that we're building for the next 100 years. It's almost 100 years old now, and my inspiration is thinking about the future 5 generations that are going to enjoy and appreciate and learn from this experience that we are helping provide here.
20 years after the dream, a child's imagination can go wild with your help.